So when you think of Bangkok, what comes to mind? It's probably the golden temples, right? The incredible street food, the buzzing nightlife. But what if I told you there's this whole other side to the city, a secret history of a place that has completely reinvented itself? Let's dive into this surprising story, where 19th century Italian palaces are being transformed into 21st century digital playgrounds.
All right, let me ask you something. When I say the word museum, what's the first image that pops into your head? Is it those super quiet, maybe a little dusty halls where everything's sealed behind glass? Or is it something else? Just hold that thought for a second.
Because there's this quiet revolution happening in the museum world. On one side, you've got the classic model, a place for quiet reflection, for preserving treasures. But on the other side, you have this whole new breed popping up. They're interactive, they're immersive. They feel more like a playground for your brain. And this clash, this contrast, that's what our story is all about today.
And boom, here is the perfect example. This is Museum Siam. I mean, just look at it. It's this gorgeous, grand building that looks like it was literally plucked right out of Rome or Paris. For decades, this was the very official Ministry of Commerce. But what's inside today is, well, it's the total opposite of traditional. It's the perfect symbol of Bangkok itself, this old-school European shell with a super modern, even radical heart.
So that's got to make you wonder, right? How on earth did a whole bunch of Italian-style palaces end up in the middle of Bangkok in the first place? To really get what this museum is all about, we have to go back in time. We have to understand the building and the era that made it.
Well, it all really goes back to one man, King Chulalongkorn, also known as Rama V. He was absolutely fascinated with European styles and had this huge vision for modernizing Bangkok. So what did he do? He created a Ministry of Public Works and basically went on a hiring spree, bringing in over 20 of Italy's best architects, engineers, and artists to kickstart a massive citywide building boom. And man, their fingerprints are all over the city. You've got the breathtaking Ananta Samakom Throne Hall, just covered in imported Carrara marble. The city's main train station, Hulamfong, yep, that was modeled after a famous one in Paris. They even wrapped a royal temple in that same brilliant white Italian marble. This was no small thing. They weren't just putting up a few buildings, they were totally changing the face of the city.
Okay, so fast forward about 100 years. What happens to all these magnificent buildings? Well, one of them, that former Ministry of Commerce we saw, gets a brand new, kind of radical mission. Instead of being about trade, it's now all about starting a conversation. And it's asking a huge, complicated question. What does it actually mean to be Thai today?
And this is where it gets really interesting. The museum's main exhibit is called Decoding Thainess, and it is so provocative that people walk out with completely opposite takeaways. I mean, look at these comments. One person says it's basically just royalist propaganda, another says it's calling out the government. The point is, no matter what you believe, it gets you thinking. So how does it pull this off? Well, it pretty much throws everything into a blender. In one room, you'll see serious royal art. Then you turn a corner and bam, there are tuk-tuks, lottery tickets, and, get this, a Lady Gaga mannequin wearing a traditional Thai headdress, which was a huge controversy back in 2012. It mashes up high art, pop culture, and just everyday stuff, like grabbing a drink in a plastic bag, to show that Thainess isn't just one thing. It's messy, it's diverse, and it's always changing. And it's not just about looking at stuff in cases. The museum uses tech to create these really cool experiences. This thing is called The Room. It's this massive panoramic screen where you watch a 10-minute film that just zips you through Thai history, from ancient kingdoms all the way to today. It's meant to be something you feel, you experience, not just something you learn. But here's the really important part. Museum Siam isn't just a one-off. It's not some weird outlier. It's actually leading the charge on a much bigger trend that's been shaking up Thailand's cultural scene for about 20 years now. The founding director of Museum Siam put it perfectly. He said that, old school museums were seen as basically just storage places. But this new generation, it's all about being interactive. The goal is to be fun, to be a place you'd actually want to hang out with friends and family. It's all about the experience. This whole movement really started picking up steam back in the early 2000s. You've got places like the Thailand Creative and Design Center, which opened up in 2004 with a clear mission to help grow the country's creative economy. Then, a few years later, in 2008, you get the Bangkok Art and Culture Center. I mean, that building is just incredible with its giant spiral design. It immediately became this super important hub for contemporary art and culture, right in the heart of the city. And the trend just keeps evolving with technology. The ASEAN Cultural Center, which opened in 2015, takes it to another level. They're using stuff like augmented and virtual reality to really immerse you in all the different cultures across Southeast Asia. Okay, so what's the big deal? Why does any of this matter? What can a century-old Italian building filled with interactive displays really tell us about Bangkok today? It shows us that a city's identity is never set in stone. It's layered, it's dynamic. Those incredible Italian buildings, they aren't just a pretty backdrop from the past. They've become the actual stage for a new, creative, and, yeah, sometimes controversial discussion about what it means to be Thai in the 21st century. The past isn't being erased, it's being repurposed as the foundation for the future. It just proves that history isn't something dead and dusty behind a pane of glass. It's more like a living script, one that can be constantly re-edited and reimagined. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. How does your own city use its oldest spaces to tell its newest stories?